Courtesy is contagious. Spread some kindness. Welcome to Senior Insights. My name is Cynthia, and today we're going to do, this video is brief. It's going to just talk about some very, very basic, common sense things about good manners. You probably all know them, and this is going to be terribly boring, but a refresher course does not hurt. And it generated a few good comments last time when we talked about our manners missing. So let's get started. Try to remember people's names. How simple is that? Well, I find it kind of hard because my memory isn't good anymore. I used to feel like I could remember anything, but I don't remember anything now. So if someone tells you their name, you're supposed to speak it again. And there are actually ways that you can learn how to put that in your memory, but sometimes it's not possible. And the other thing is, once you know their name, is to mention their name a couple of times in the conversation. Don't mention it 30 times, but it makes that person feel important and respected. Don't call someone a nickname. Now, I can relate to this one because people always assume and call me Cindy. I don't like the name Cindy for me because I have the stereotype in my mind and I don't want to be called Cindy. But as I've grown older, I just accept it. But you would be surprised how many people will just automatically interpret Cynthia as Cindy. I don't even see how there's really not much of a similarity. But that doesn't mean that you can't call someone a nickname, but you have to know the person and you really have to get their permission because you just don't call people a nickname. This is a good one. You'll recognize this if you go to the airport and you're walking on the escalator, you always stand to the right. If for some reason you're exhausted and you can't walk another step and you're just kind of riding the escalator all the way up, and you walk to the left. If there's two of you, you don't stand side by side and talk because there's someone behind you on the left that's trying to get by. So that's just another common courtesy that's not really too hard to practice. Wait patiently in line. Have you ever been in a line when somebody is like hemming and hawing and sighing and being exasperated and calling the people in front of them, under their breath, talking about them and stuff? Just wait patiently. There's nothing you can do about it. Just do it. And the other thing is, don't intrude on someone's space. When you're in line, don't be like right up on top of the person in front of you because it's almost like tailgating in a car. It's uncomfortable. You're infringing on their space and you're pressuring them. And what if they have anxiety like some of us do? It might make them very anxious. Try to offer a greeting or a smile or a handshake. But you also need to be aware when you do that what the culture is of the person that you're greeting. Some cultures do not tolerate any kind of physical contact whatsoever. Some cultures hug and kiss, even strangers. So in the United States, it's acceptable to smile, shake someone's hands, and you have to wing it from there, I guess. Be punctual, be on time. Don't go to a dinner party that someone has slaved all day long making a dinner and be a half hour late. It's just rude. That person has worked really hard. Same thing for family dinners. Sometimes people will show up 20 minutes later than they were expected. So there are some people that do it so chronically that whoever invites them automatically tells them a time that's earlier than the time that they need to be there, so they'll get there on time. Don't assume that because your server is a server and that you're paying for the meal, that you are not expected to say, thank you, excuse me, please. The servers and people that serve us, like hairdressers and barbers and waitresses and housekeepers, they deserve the same courtesies of please and thank you and excuse me. They're often really neglected and not even recognized, because some people figure that they're paying for the meal and that's all they have to do. Well, that's not true. And one of the viewers who watches, I was going to say this channel, she makes it a point to find the manager when she's had particularly good service, and she calls the manager over, and they're probably shaking in their shoes, figuring out here's another complaint, and she tells them how satisfied she was with the server and their service. So it's a win-win situation. You feel good for doing it. The manager is relieved because he's not having a complaint to deal with. And what about the poor server? How awesome is that? So we need to do a little bit more of that. We have to practice kindness. Make sure that when you're going someplace, you know what the dress code is, so that you don't come into a formal wedding party, wedding reception, in a tank top and shorts, if it's a formal wedding reception. If it's a beach party, then that's what you would wear. Maybe not me, but you dress appropriate for the occasion. And if you don't have formal clothes, well, then dress up the clothes that you have so that they look as nice as you can get them. Or don't go. But I don't think you should not go. I think you should go. Think before you speak. Don't say anything that you're going to regret or that's rude or insulting or criticizing or interrupting. Just think, stop and think before you open your mouth. Now, here's one we tell the little kids, the kindergartens. If you're in a restaurant or you're in the movies, speak with an inside voice. Don't shout. Don't talk loud. Speak with an inside voice, just like the little kids do. Wait your turn. Be patient. Apologize when you're wrong. Don't make excuses. Just say, yep, I messed up. Offer your seat when you're on a bus or a plane or a train and there's an elderly person there and they can hardly stand and you're sitting in your seat. Even I could offer my seat because I am perfectly capable of standing, but there are some people who are not, who just out of respect, you should offer them your seat. It should be an automatic thing. It shouldn't be like, oh, should I really offer them my seat? I don't want to get up from my seat. You'll feel better. That person will appreciate it, hopefully. And even if they don't, you did the right thing. Pay attention. When you're talking to someone, use good eye contact. I feel like I always look people in the eye, but since I've been doing these videos, they're not coming out like I'm looking you straight in the eye. But I'm trying. I'm really trying, because the person you're talking to needs to know that you are talking to them, that you're paying attention. You're paying attention to what they say. What they say is important, that you're listening. Don't interrupt. I do this all the time. Yep. I bet if you listen to some of these suggestions, you might have to say that, oh, I'm kind of guilty of that. Like some of the being in the line things. I've crumbled and crabbed when I've been in the line. Don't be glued to your phone when you're in a face-to-face. When you're sitting there at the dining room table, playing a game or scrolling, and you're not paying attention to the person sitting next to you or across from you, that is so rude. I cannot stand that. So because I can't stand that, don't do it. Give credit where credit is due. If you're working in an office and you get credit for something from your boss, and don't take the credit, just say, if it wasn't for Joe, we couldn't have done it. And he really did a lot of the work. Things like that. It makes you look good. It makes Joe look good. It makes the boss informed about what's really going on. And everybody's happy. This is a good one. Offer help without being asked. There have been so many times I wish I've said something that I needed to do, and it was kind of a hint or something, and nobody jumps at the hint. So clean up after yourself. That's kind of an obvious thing, but it doesn't happen. I've been to like those women's meetings that I go to. They're in a public room, it's in a senior center, and a lot of people use the rooms. They don't put the chairs back when they're done. Don't you remember when you were a kid, you had to, when you got out of the chair, away from the table, you had to push your chair into the table? It's just common courtesy. Be honest. Disagree respectfully. In this day and age, we have so many conflicting opinions, ideas. The politics is terrible. Families don't even speak to each other. How awful is that? You would sacrifice your family relationships because someone else has an opinion that you don't agree with or whatever. Just agree. Just be respectful. Disagree respectfully. It can be done. It's been done for many, many years until recently, and it's like disgusting. Good table manners. Now, we all know the things about chew with your mouth closed, and you shouldn't have a cat walking on your dining room table. But I thought this was kind of interesting. Not that I go to formal parties or fancy restaurants anymore. I guess occasionally I'm going to my son is renewing his wedding vows. It's his 25th wedding anniversary, so he's going to be renewing his wedding vows. So I'm going to have to wear something. It's informal, but I'm going to have to wear something besides jeans, because they asked me, my daughter-in-law asked me if I would be the mother of the bride and the mother of the groom. So I have to spruce myself up a little. I'm glad I bought some lipstick the other day. I was talking about the good table manners. Okay. If you're a woman, or if you're a man that has a cell phone, you do not put your purse on the table. Did you know that? You don't put your phone on the table. I think there's a lot of people that don't know that part. The purse, if you have a big gigundo purse, well, hopefully you would have common sense that it wouldn't go on the table. What you're supposed to do is, most women take a smaller bag to a more formal occasion, purse, a clutch purse. But if you don't, irregardless of what kind of purse you have, it's supposed to stay in your lap. And so isn't the phone. The phone is not supposed to be on the table. So your purse and your phone need to be in your lap. If you have to leave to go to the ladies' room, or if it's a buffet or something, then you put your napkin over your phone and your purse that's on your chair. Did you know that? I didn't really know that. I thought that was kind of interesting. Same thing goes if you have, I just said if you have to leave, but now say you come back from the restroom and you're sitting down and you're holding onto your purse and your napkin. You do not ever put your napkin back on the table. It's contaminated, it's dirty, because it was on top of your purse. That's what the etiquette book says. So don't put your napkin back on the table, even if every single person at that table does it. Take the time to understand what someone is saying. Don't quickly act like you know what they're saying, because you probably don't know what they're saying. This is something that I do all the time. I will interrupt someone, and I will interpret what they're saying, because I don't know if I've told you this, but I am an authority on everything. And so I can even read minds. But it's rude, and frequently you can be wrong. So try to let the person speak, say what they have to say, and then you can have a civil discussion about it. So this was really just meant to be fun, especially the one with the purse on the table. It just, these are just simple things that are just common courtesy. One of the other people that listens to this says when she was young, her mother taught her, do not ever say that you don't like something. Don't go, I'm not eating that, even if you don't like it. Just say, I would prefer to have something else. Or better yet, especially if you're in a public place or somebody has slaved over the meal all day and they didn't realize you didn't like steak. So don't sit there and be gagging at the table. Take a bite or push it aside or something, but don't make that person who cooked for you feel bad. It's not nice. So, like I said, they may seem simple, but they really form the backbone of a respectful, connected community instead of nastiness. So reinforcing these habits can make everyday interactions more pleasant. We can sprinkle kindness all over the world if we all practice a little bit of kindness. We think about our gratitude journal. I've been doing mine. I hope you people are doing yours. But I am concerned because there is some diminishing civility that seems to be happening now. So we have to take it upon ourselves to set good examples, especially for young people and children in the modern day that we live in. Well, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope that you subscribe and like and leave a comment about using good manners. Was there anything in here that I said that you didn't know? There's tons more, but I didn't want to go on and on. It's kind of a boring subject, but it's kind of a refresher course. I think that's what we're having. We're learning how to live correctly and be happy. And I have to tell, here I'm talking again, and I'm going to say goodbye, and I'll have another just rambling on chat. So thank you. I appreciate each and every one of you. Bye-bye.